And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Hello, I'm meteorologist David Kramer with Alaska Weather. Thanks for joining for our public segment for today. And since we have no watches, warnings, or advisories out for the state right now, we're going to start off with a look at our satellite imagery here. You'll notice a low pressure system out over the Gulf of Alaska, bringing in a lot of cloud cover out through Panhandle area up into the North Gulf Coast near Yakutat. This is also bringing quite a bit of moisture with it, and that rain is starting to approach the Panhandle area. As we look at this loop again, we'll look out over the interior areas up through the eastern portions of the North Slope. We'll see some areas of cloud cover that are bringing some snowfall to those areas through the Brooks Range as well. Taking a look now for our weather for tonight, we can start off with our low out over the Gulf. Again, starting to bring rain closer to the Panhandle area, starting to make it into the inside waters. We'll progress further into the Panhandle area throughout the night. Much of mainland Alaska doesn't have a lot of precip until we get up into the eastern portions of the interior where we are seeing some snow. It's going to be through much of the Brooks Range and especially the eastern portions of the North Slope. Out over the Bering Sea, we have a system moving in from the west, moving in closer towards the western Aleutians, and we still have some lingering rain from area of low pressure out over the southeastern portions of the Bering Sea that's extending from the Pribilof Islands through the eastern Aleutians as well as the Alaska Peninsula, bringing rain to those locations. As we move into Monday, that low pressure system starting to push farther into the Gulf waters, now bringing in some rain to the western Aleutian Islands. But out over mainland Alaska, still seeing most areas fairly dry. Again, in the eastern interior, we're going to see some snow mixed with some rain at some of the lower elevations, and then some snow through the Brooks Range and some areas up along the North Slope as well. Then down into the Panhandle area, low pressure starting to weaken out over the southern Gulf, but the rain is still pushing all the way through the Panhandle area, with the exception of up by Haines and Skagway there. As we move into Tuesday, rain lingering for much of the Panhandle area, some snow at some of the higher elevations in the coastal mountains. But then as we look out over mainland Alaska, our frontal system from the west is now pushed in to make it to the west coast, bringing widespread rain throughout the west coast of the state with some higher elevations in the Alaska Range. As we get into the Brooks Range, going to see some snow with that coming in. Still some lingering areas of snow out over the Yukon Flats area through the eastern Brooks Range as well. As we look down at the Aleutian Islands, our front extending down through the central Aleutians, bringing some rain there. And we'll also have some rain for the eastern Aleutians and Alaska Peninsula. Then on Wednesday, our frontal system pushing even further inland. Now we're going to see precipitation through almost all of mainland Alaska. Some areas way along the eastern side are going to stay a little bit drier there, but most areas will see at least rain, especially along the west coast down through south central Alaska. Higher elevations going to see some snow, and then we're going to start to see more snow in the Yukon Flats area, northern interior, up through the Brooks Range and the western portions of the North Slope. We will have some ridging moving in behind the system, clearing out some of the precipitation for the Aleutian Islands. And then down in the Panhandle area, we still have some ridging there as well, starting to clear out the central and northern portions of the Panhandle, but some lingering rain in areas farther to the south. Switching over to temperatures now, lows for Monday morning. We are going to drop down into the upper 40s for the southern Panhandle and to near 40 for areas farther to the north. Out over south central, we're going to stay above freezing, and that's going to be true down in the areas by Lake Iliamna through Bristol Bay. But most of the state, or mainland Alaska anyway, is going to drop below freezing, with some temperatures getting down into the teens for the Brooks Range. Most places staying in the 20s or near freezing along the west coast. For the Aleutian Islands, we're going to drop down into the mid-40s for the most part, and that's going to be true for the Pribilofs as well. Getting into Monday afternoon, getting up into the 50s for much of the Aleutian Islands and southern portions of the Bristol Bay area. We're going to get into the mid-40s for much of the west coast, getting colder as we get farther to the north, barely getting above freezing for the North Slope area, and into or near 40 for much of the interior, getting a little bit colder as we get closer towards the Alaska Range. Into the south central area up to near 50, and then in the 50s for most locations in the Panhandle, getting up to near 60 farther to the south. Tuesday morning is going to look fairly similar to Monday morning, upper 40s for southern locations in the Panhandle, near 40 as we get farther to the north. Most of the state once again dropping down below freezing, getting into the teens for some areas up by the central Brooks Range, and into the 20s for the North Slope. Near or staying a little bit warmer along the west coast as we have that frontal system moving in. It is going to bring some warmer air up with it, so only dropping down to near 40 degrees for the YK Delta coast and up by St. Lawrence Island. Mid 40s for the Alaska Peninsula, and I'll extend out for much of the Aleutian Islands as well, a little bit warmer by Shemya. Tuesday afternoon highs getting up into the 50s for the most part for the Aleutian Islands, into the Alaska Peninsula, near 50 along the coast for the YK Delta and Bristol Bay, then into the mid 40s for the Seward Peninsula, at or just above freezing for the North Slope. Down in the interior, getting up to around 40 degrees, near 50 degrees for much of South Central, and in the mid to upper 50s for the Panhandle, getting up into the lower 60s as we get farther to the south. For Alaska Weather, I'm David Kramer. Thanks for watching.